This is chapters 11 through 15. I'm going to read 15 of 14 Ways to Die. 11. Are you excited? Adrian asked, and I faked the biggest smile I can manage. More than you know. It's Saturday. We're in an elegant restaurant in London, and I'm the first to arrive. I hand Adrian the paperwork, and he smiles, checks that every dotted line has been signed, then passes it to Lauren. When you're a kid, London is the place where all the best surprises are, like Hamleys and musicals and museums. But now alone, it reminds me I'm not that kid anymore. I didn't sleep last night, worrying about who the other stars are and if their hooks are better than mine. Lauren taps on her iPad while Adrian does a terrible job trying to keep me calm. You're probably really stoked to meet the others, he says, and I wonder where he gets his words from. I guess, I say, even though I'm shitting myself because this is not exactly my comfort zone, but then neither is having my life streamed online, so I suppose I should get used to feeling permanently anxious on top of everything else. I think it's great what you're doing, he says, trying to find him when no one else could. Do you think I will? I ask, and he smiles. Well, let's hope so. Adrian stays quiet after that, and I know he isn't taking me seriously. He's making a mistake underestimating me. But this isn't a fight worth picking. Eventually the others arrive, 2 girls and 2 boys. Welcome, Adrian says, ushering everyone into their seats. I sneak quick glances at each of them, catching one girl's eye and blushing. The silence is already awkward when Adrian says, Let's introduce ourselves. Okay, says the boy with hair that covers his ears and what looks like a scar creeping out from between the curls. My name's Lucas Newman, I'm 16, and I used to be on TV. You're the little kid from that comedy, one of the girls says, and Lucas nods. Everyone recognizes him except me, because 10 years ago, Dad and I didn't do what normal people did. When no one goes next, Adrian says, Ella, how about you? The girl who caught my eye says, Well, I'm Ella, and I'm 17. I'm pregnant, except I've never had sex. My dad thinks it's immaculate conception. It was his idea for me to do this. I stare at her, waiting for the punchline, but she looks deadly serious, and I wonder if she has an angle like I do, or if she actually believes what she's saying. Ella sees me staring and smiles, but she doesn't look happy. She looks like my nan when no one's watching. When Adrian asks the other boy to speak, he sighs and says, My name's Ryan, I'm 19, and my brother did something terrible. We all look at each other, now connected by our curiosity, until Ryan says, He was one of the men who went into the museum. He shot everyone, then blew himself up. I remember that day, the breaking news, the hashtags, but it surprises me when Ryan says it was 3 years ago. I'm sorry, he says, and Ella reaches out to touch his hand, but he pulls it away. I'm Jess, I say. My mother was killed by the Magpie Man. Ryan looks up at me and nods, and I feel it, a moment of shared tragedy. He reminds me of my dad, the way sorrow clings to his face, pulling on his lips and hanging heaviest in his eyes. And finally, Adrian says, smiling at the other girl, I'm Sonia, she says. That's it, just a name and a shrug of the shoulders. I look at Adrian, expecting him to push her for more, but he grins and explains that I'm Monday, Ryan is Tuesday, Ella is Wednesday, Lucas is Thursday, and Sonia is Friday. What if no one watches? Ella asked. We all look at Adrian because secretly we've all thought it, and he smiles and says, They'll watch. How can you be sure? I ask. He says, Wouldn't you? I suppose he's right. I suppose to start with, everyone will try it, and it's up to us to keep things interesting. I've watched enough vloggers and reality shows to know that interesting means different things to different people. We watch hours of strangers doing nothing, talking shit, breaking up, and making up, conversations we all have that are somehow so much better when someone else is having them. People will have their favorites, Adrian says. Just be yourselves. That's why we picked you. And then, calm as you like, he pulls out the twist. We haven't been completely honest with you, he says, and I'm terrified this is all a joke, that there's no show, and more importantly, no chance for justice. Or maybe it's already started. Maybe we're being filmed and this is some sort of challenge. There will be 5 shows initially, but only one of you will be continuing on. We look at each other, realizing for the first time that we're in competition. Lucas probably thinks he has an advantage because he used to be famous, but who remembers what was on TV years ago? And there's something about Sonia I don't trust, because the rest of us have stories, so why would they pick her if she doesn't? How long do we have? Brian asked. A month, as promised, Adrian replies. But the 3-month run is not guaranteed just because your viewing figures are high. They have to be the highest. I thought I would get the extension no problem, but if it's only reserved for one of us, I don't have any time to waste. Chapter 12. Whenever I get home after I'm supposed to, I wish for something that will never happen. I want Mom to be standing there with a scowl on her face and a lecture coming to the boil. I want her to yell at me, asking where the hell I've been. I want dinner to be silent and horrible because she's annoyed at me and I'm annoyed at her for being so angry. And I want Dad to make everything okay with a silly comment that makes us laugh, our apologies coming through the giggles we can't contain. But that doesn't happen. It never has. Mom was murdered before I was old enough to truly piss her off. She left my life with holes I fill with made-up memories, and I hate it. I wish we'd had the raging fights you see on TV, the stupid arguments about nothing. I wish I didn't have quite so many missing pieces, the conversations we never had, the feelings we never shared. What hurts most is her absence, the complete lack of touch, and her voice, and her smell. That's what they don't tell you when you lose someone, that they're gone in more ways than you can count. I get home from the meeting with the others and go straight upstairs to my room, where I've been writing the script for my first episode. I know it's supposed to be spontaneous, but I can't risk that. There's a plan and I need to stick to it, which means saying certain things early on to set it in motion. The quicker I go viral, the sooner people are talking about me, the better chance we have of finding him. How will the others prepare? Will they change their plans now that Adrian has pitted us against one another? Ryan and Ella might. Lucas probably thinks he doesn't have to, and I have no idea about Sonia. Excuse me. When Dad knocks on the door, I jump. He mumbles an apology and says, "How was your day?" He's trying to care, even though he hates that I'm doing this. Okay, I say. I could give him more. I could tell him about the others, about the competition, about the food we ate at the restaurant, and how we didn't pay a penny. But I stick with okay, because I need to focus. Then, as he turns to leave, I say, "Dad?" He smiles, his broken smile, and I say, "Thanks for saying yes." He nods, glances quickly around my room, then leaves. I have a month, hopefully 3, to catch a serial killer, but no one will watch if they hate me. I need to be likable, watchable, someone the audience can connect with. I need to be the perfect reality star, which, thankfully, is nothing like being the perfect person. 13. I live in Doveton, a place only famous for the town next door. People only stop here to ask how close they are to Harmony. They only come in to go out the other side. Harmony has a beach and restaurants and hotels. It has sand sculptors and galleries and a 6-screen movie theater. Doveton has a Pizza Hut. Before Mom's murder, it was safe, boring, unnewsworthy. The day before she died, a man committed suicide in the cemetery. All the tragedy wrapped up in a single week, and in the year since then, it has gone back to its old routine. I go to school at St. Anthony's. He's a patron saint of lost things, which is kind of appropriate. I have friends, even if it sounds like I've spent the last 10 years moping in my room. I've known Hannah and Emily since 6th grade, and no matter who else has come and gone, we've always stuck together. They're my second attempt at BFFs. My first, Bernie and Asha, fell away from me in the aftermath of Mom's murder. In the middle of your grief, when it's too raw for most people to handle, they disappear, slowly stepping back until you turn around one day and they're gone. Bernie lived next door to me when we were kids. Ashia lived 2 blocks over. They faded away long before we outgrew each other. I have higher hopes for Emily and Hannah. They don't know about the show yet, and I'm not sure how they'll react when I tell them. Hannah will probably be disappointed in me, and Emily will be jealous. But when she realizes how much she's going to be on camera, she'll be fine. Hannah thinks she'll live in Doveton forever. If you want to piss her off, ask her why there's no second H. She saves her dirtiest look for people who question her parents' spelling. And I know that you can't see it, but her name is Hanna, and that's why second H. They own the ice cream parlor in Harmony, running it with a mixture of passion and exasperation. I love watching them work. Hannah's dad yelling in Hungarian and her mom grumbling in Hindi. Emily can't wait to leave. Her mom's a teacher's aide who cries all the time because her husband divorced her, and Emily says it's no fun living at home anymore. While my mom died, her dad just moved out, but the way her mom looks, you would think it was the other way around. There are things you never say to a grieving person, like, keep your chin up, and I know how you feel, and you never, ever say is, pull yourself together. But secretly, that's what I want to say to Emily's mom. Then I feel guilty because everyone has their own shit to deal with. They are going to be my co-stars, my two best friends, and their parents will be extras if they want to be. I haven't asked them yet. I haven't asked anyone. I might be surrounded by blurry faces. But knowing how desperate people are to be famous these days, I doubt it. Chapter 14. Can you explain this? Mrs. Bradley says, holding out a letter she's waving too quickly for me to read. I shrug, and she hands it to me, and I see it's from the production company, requesting permission to film every Monday for up to 3 months. I start reading, but she snatches it back before I'm halfway through, and says, so you want to be a star, Jessica? Mrs. Bradley is a school principal at St. Anthony's. She's stiff and serious with a face like a warning sign. I've never seen her smile. She spends most of her time in her office. When she does come into a classroom, the temperature drops. I thought it would be good to put on my personal statement, I say, and she sits down and gestures for me to do the same. I realize I'm going to have to send a letter to the parents of every child in the school if I agree to this, she says. We can't have anyone on film without their permission. I know. What does your father think? He's cool with it. I'd like to meet with him, Mrs. Bradley says. Why are you doing this, Jessica? She has the power to stop this before it's even started, and I'm annoyed at myself for not realizing it earlier, for not trying to sweet-talk her. You know about my mom, I say, and she nods. She always wanted to be famous. This is a lie. Everything I'm about to say is, she dreamed of being an actress, but when I came along, well, she put it off, and then never underestimate the power of a pause. Mrs. Bradley sighs, and I see the sympathy that used to follow me everywhere. She nods, now sincere, her lips push into an understanding half-smile. I'm not talented in that way, I say. I don't do drama, I can't sing, but I can do this. I stare at her until she says, you don't have to. Your mother would be proud of you anyway. People say that a lot. Strangers think pride is a universal feeling in dead parents. But if Mom is looking down on me, she's probably a little disappointed. I haven't done anything since she was killed, but I can change that now. The daughter of the Magpie Man's first victim is going online every week for a month, and if he's as messed up as I think, he'll want to see how I turned out. In some sick way, I'm as much his achievement as I am Mom and Dad's. So if you're talking about pride, the Magpie Man is most likely to feel it. I am his fucked up creation after all. Chapter 15. Every Tuesday and Thursday, Nan comes over to clean the house and make sure we're eating healthily. Dad used to love cooking, but not now. On Friday nights, my parents would go through their cookbooks, ensuring we always had 2 completely new meals every week. They filled our cupboards and our stomachs with things I'd never heard of that nearly always tasted great. But Dad doesn't do that anymore. Mostly he lets the microwave do the cooking. He buys what you can take out of a package and eat a few minutes later. Nan is careful not to make anything that reminds us of Mom. She leaves spinach out of the bologna sauce and chili out of everything. Every year she makes my second favorite birthday cake, not knowing that I buy carrot cake from the baker's at least once a week, remembering Mom's recipe with every bite. Nan talks to Dad, but he only says so much before looking weary. Sometimes I see the frustration she tries to hide, an argument bubbling below the surface. But if she tells Dad what she's thinking, she does it when I'm not around. She's been looking after us ever since Mom died because she didn't think we could look after ourselves. And whatever Dad thinks, I like it because it means there's someone else in the house. She doesn't only clean the bathroom, she temporarily washes away the gloom. Dad was angry when she rewrote his story of what happened to Mom. I heard them arguing the day after Nan told me what the Magpie Man had really done. That's the problem with love. People show it in different ways. Dad protected me with lies while Nan thought truth was the best medicine. I think it's probably a little of both. When I get home, she boils the kettle like she always does, and although I've been dreading this conversation, I say, I'm going to be on the internet, and you might be too if you want to be. She looks confused, so I explain the show to her. I say I'll be a little like a celebrity for a while. A celebrity, she says, rolling the word around her tongue. Are you sure that's a good idea? It's probably not, but what choice do I have? I'm not doing this for that kind of fame. If it happens anyway, I'll deal with it. 13 times the Magpie Man has struck, and 13 times he has left nothing behind but a body. It's something I have to do, I tell Nan, and because she always wants the best for me, she agrees not to have her face blurred out. I'll have to get my hair done, she says.